Okay, now it's time to learn how to ballast the track. Now, ballasting is a very detailed process, but I can guarantee you that if you follow the steps I'm going to share with you in this video and you use the tools that I'm going to share with you in this video, your end product is going to be something you're really going to be happy with. I took ideas from other model railroaders, some of my own ideas, and even ideas from the Model Railroad Academy. A young man named Josh did a great video for them. Took all these ideas together to deliver what I think is a superior product to you all. And I've used these same steps on my own layout, and I'm very happy with how they've turned out. So before we get started with actually seeing how it's done, let's talk about the tools that we need first. First thing you need, of course, is ballast. Now, ballast comes in 3 different grades: fine, medium, and coarse. The grade that you choose simply depends on your layout. For example, if you were modeling a layout from the West Coast in the mountains, and you might use a medium or a coarse grade ballast. If you're doing something else, you might use a fine grade ballast like I am. So you have to know, what am I modeling? What's my objectives? What era am I modeling? And that answers the question as to what ballast you need, fine, medium, or coarse. I'm using fine ballast, a Woodland Scenics product, and it's light gray in color, which I think is going to look great contrasted against the dark brown track that I just painted. You're also going to need a brush, and some modelers will use a full-size paintbrush. I find that a smaller paintbrush, this is an artist paintbrush about 1 inch wide, and here's the key: whatever brush you decide to use, soft bristles. That's really important. But you're going to need a brush. You're going to need a spray bottle that sprays a very fine mist, like a hairspray fine mist. So that's exactly what I got here. This is an old hairspray bottle, and you can see very fine mist. That's important for a couple of reasons. The biggest reason is that ballast is very light. At some point, we're going to spray the ballast with this stuff, and when you do, you don't want the ballast flying all over the place, so you need the fine mister. The other thing is that this container, we're filling it full of water and then adding one drop of dish soap, common dish soap. In this bottle right here, I have 1 drop of Palmolive dishwashing soap mixed up with the water. Shake it up real good. We're going to end up applying that to the ballast before we add the glue, because this solution will help the glue saturate into the ballast better than if we didn't do that. Now, I should point out that some modelers will say, hey, you know what, I use water and alcohol in that step instead of the soap. And you can do that. 70% alcohol mixed with some water, that's a fine mixture as well. But what I found is that the alcohol dries quickly, it evaporates quickly. So the soap and the water solution seems to last a little bit longer and buys you a little bit more time to lay the glue down. Speaking of glue, you'll need to decide on the glue. You can use almost any type of glue that you want. The thing you want to remember on the glue, it has to be clear drying. You want clear drying glue, and then any type of glue after that is fine in terms of the brand that you buy. I'm using Woodland Scenics glue, and I've got it in a container here, and I've mixed it with 50% water. So I got a 50-50 mix of water and my Woodland Scenics glue. Let's talk about the container. How are you going to apply the glue? This is an eye wash container, like you used to go like that, eye wash container. The reason I chose that is because when you open it up, and I'm not going to do it right now, but you're going to see it in just a minute in the video, when you apply the glue to the ballast, you're going to get just little drops. And that gives you control over how much glue you're applying and where you're applying it. So this is a great little tool, the eye drop bottle. Now, some folks don't use the eye drop bottle. Some folks will use one of these. And this is something you can buy at your local hobby stores called a pipette. And for those experts out there watching me, if I'm mispronouncing this, send me an email and let me know, but I'm pretty sure it's pronounced pipette. And all it is a big eyedropper with a very small end tube on the end. So if you're applying glue using the pipette, once again, you have a lot of control over how much glue you're putting down and where you're putting it down. So pipettes are great tools as well, not just for ballasting, by the way, but for all your other gluing needs too. So that's it. So those are the tools that we're going to be using. I'm going to show you now exactly how you take these tools and how you follow the steps of laying down the ballast, and you'll see the end product and you can tell me what you think. But I think you're going to be happy with the end product when you try these steps out on your layout. So if you're ready, let's get started. So here's that teaspoon I forgot to show you earlier, but if you grab a teaspoon, you can apply the ballast with that, run it right along the railroad ties at about a 30-degree angle. You do both sides of the railroad ties, and then you'll probably want to add a second layer of ballast that overlaps the roadbed. And you can see by using this method, you get really nice crisp lines to the ballast. Once you're done with both sides of the track, then you just throw a little ballast down the center. And now it's time to brush it and smooth it all out. Now when you're brushing using your artist brush, you always want to brush the ballast in the same direction. Avoid going back and forth like you would do if you were painting something. Always brush in the same direction. And you're going to run that brush right over the rails, and you can see how nice of a clean line that gives you of ballast if you go right over the rails. When you're done brushing both sides of the rails, then you just run the brush right down the center of the track to get the ballast in between the railroad ties. You're always going to have a little bit of ballast on top of the ties, and the easiest way to get them off is simply take your finger and very lightly go over the rails, and you'll notice all those little particles of ballast will go away. Just pat it down a little bit on the edges and you're ready to go. Now our next step, of course, is to glue the ballast into place. We're going to be using that solution of water and 1 drop of dish detergent. Here's a tip for you: when you're spraying it, just hold the sprayer about 12 inches or even higher above the track. Remember, if ballast is very light, so if you get too close to the ballast, it's going to blow all over the place. So hold it up. Now we're going to add the glue, and to add the glue, we're going to run the eye drop bottle with the glue in it right next to the railroad ties. And what you're going to notice is that if you do this, the glue will flow down naturally on the edge of the ballast all the way down. You get a very even application of glue by using this method. And then give it 1 strip down the middle and let it dry. It takes about a good 12 hours for it to dry. And once it's done drying, you want to clean your track. And I hope you found these tips helpful, and we will see you again on the next video. Thanks for watching.